Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Path to Finding Your Groove. I'm coming to you again from the other side of the world today. Rakhee is currently in the Netherlands and has quite an interesting path of different parts of the globe in which your journey has really developed, and your path has also found a lot of its own groove. I do believe in our quick conversation that you are very multilingual as well. Lots of languages trying to make their way into your everyday life. So it's really great to be able to chat across the interweb like this, as well, and connect and really collaborate and celebrate your journey as well. What I'm going to do, I'm going to hand it over to Rakhee to introduce herself and a little bit about what she does, where she's come from, and how her path has really developed in its own very unique way as well.
Thank you so much, Linda. It's wonderful to be here, connect with you and connect with everybody watching. Thank you so much for giving me your time. I am Rakhee, and I'm born and brought up in India. I currently live in the Netherlands. I'm a spiritual mentor and a shamaness who works with sacred plants. And yes, I grew up in Kerala. That is also the birthplace of Ayurveda. So I grew up with a lot of yoga and meditation and chanting, and in a very holistic home. And yes, and then you will be wondering, oh, and what are you doing in the Netherlands now? A lot of people ask me that. Oh, yeah. It sounds really great. Why did you leave all that? And
it's quite a contrast.
Yeah. Yes. And also because it's very cold here for me.
I imagine. You're all rugged up. I'm in my summer end in Australia.
Oh, you must be feeling very warm seeing me like this. It's our winter here in the Netherlands. And Kerala, we have a temperature of 30 degrees every day. So
wow.
Yes, really warm.
Yes.
And I feel that I had to make this journey, come halfway around the world to start a new life here. Also to show myself that I can do this. I am enough. And so that has been a very important part of my journey. Because when you grow up in a traditional home, a Hindu home in a little city in India in the 1980s, it was beautiful growing up. But as a girl, I was always told that I am too opinionated, and I was always called as a rebel. You know, I was always asking questions, and I had a problem with authority at school, at home. So I was really giving everybody a hard time. Yes. Yeah. But I most probably I did that also because I kind of always knew that I am here. I'm put here for a purpose. I'm here to help people. So I always knew that. And fortunately, my family, they are very loving, very giving people. So I come from a home where we always served people, even if it is food, or my parents have put kids through school and helped people in many ways, my grandparents as well. But I knew that there is something more to me here. So, and I always had visions and dreams. So it was difficult in the beginning to understand why. So I was afraid. I was really genuinely scared for many years because I did not understand what was happening with me. So at one point, even my parents, they thought that I'm mentally ill
Oh no.
Yes, and I think that
Yep.
yes, because they just could not understand why I would see this or what. And of course, we have a lot of shamanism in Kerala, a lot of mystic shamanism. We don't have the word shaman in India. We just say priestess, or we would say the goddess is speaking through that particular person. So it's it's still very much alive.
Yes.
But because I am a girl, my parents did not want me to have a life like that. So they always kept it in the family. Of course, my friends knew. So it was, everybody knew that I had this thing, but, but nobody thought that I will live like this. I will really come out and tell the world that, yes, I am this. I am a shamaness, and I felt like this all my life. So I knew from a very young age that everything is energy. So I worked with energies all my life. So, and when I came to the Netherlands, that was after meeting my wonderful husband. We worked together.
Is he from the Netherlands as well?
That's a whole different story. Yes, he's originally from, I have so many stories. My husband, he is originally from Colombia.
Okay.
He has adopted Dutch parents. So when I met him, I thought, wow, a native Indian man. He is a native Indian, but he doesn't speak one word of Spanish, or he came here when he was 5 months old. So I was a little bit disappointed. But so I thought, oh, when you see such a man, you really think that Spanish is going to come out. But anyway, so but he was most loving and most kind person I've ever met. And we worked together for a street children project in India. He was a volunteer worker, and I was also a volunteer. So that is how, I would say, love brought me to the Netherlands. And so when I came here, I thought that, okay, now I have a clean slate. Nobody knows this thing about me. Really, this is like a big secret. Nobody knows. I have a clean slate. So I told myself that, okay, I don't want to embarrass my new Dutch family, because this is like too much for them to think that, oh, this is her daily life.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, of course, everybody knows that I come from a spiritual or a religious family, and I have a traditional background in meditation and holistic life. But nobody really thought that I will really choose this as a way of life and a way of work. So so then I thought, okay, I will just do what I like to do, and I also like to paint. So I started as an artist in the Netherlands, and I was, unfortunately, I became successful. So I had a good life as an artist, but I always had a feeling that I am hiding. The true me was hiding. So even though I didn't do that on purpose, I just wanted to have an easy start in a new country, and I had to learn the language and the culture. So being an artist was great. It was a good cover as well. So that's how my journey started. But then soon I met a woman here, a Dutch woman, and I saw an energy with her that I knew that I need to talk to her. This is not good for her. This, I just saw her and I thought, oh,
I
Rakhee.
love those nudges.
I thought, oh, and mostly it was like, oh no, not again, not halfway around the world. I'm in the Netherlands, leave me alone. But then I thought, okay, calm down. So I'm always talking to myself as well. I always did that, but so I always thought that, I am my own therapist. Also because I always felt that I am very much guided. So I could ask a question and I would always hear an answer that always helped and resonated with me. So I sat down and I thought, okay, you have a choice now. Are you going to hide because you are afraid of the judgment? Or are you going to stand up and reach out to this person who really genuinely needs help, and you can do it? Because I have done this, what I do, all my life. But so I thought, this is who I am. This I got this. So I thought, okay. I called her, and I hung up before she even picked up the phone. I thought, okay, let's do this again. I thought, okay. And when I'm really afraid, what I ask myself, this is like the last thing I need, So I ask myself, Rakhee, you're serious? You were afraid to pick up the phone and call her? You had died and come back. I have had 4 near-death experiences before the age of 10. And I just looked in the mirror and I said, you've died and come back. What are you afraid of? Just pick up the phone, call her. So I thought, okay, thanks. So I picked up the phone and I spoke to her. I said, okay, I saw something with you. I can help you. So let's just meet. Let's talk. So that really pushed me out of my hiding space. And I understood that no matter where I move, no matter what I do, this is who I am. I cannot hide anymore. I cannot, be in the closet anymore. So that, I would say, that was a big coming out for me again, in the Netherlands. Just like that, I told my husband that his name is Gorga. I said, Gorga, I can't hide anymore. This, so many people need to know. So many people need help, and I can't do this. This is me. I've been practicing this all my life. So that's how I started my work.
Wow. So tell me a little bit more about, obviously, as it sounds like as an artist, you were somewhat satisfied on the creative level, probably more than anything. But how, can you describe a little bit of that, knowing that you just weren't quite in alignment, you weren't quite living to your fullest potential, if you like, as well? Was it a tap on the shoulder or more like a kick up the behind, which it obviously... So I find that often you'll be given the tap, and the tap, and then it's like, right.
Okay, that's it. You go.
Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yes, I can't even say I think, because I knew that something was driving me to healing arts all my life. I started yoga and meditation when I was 4 years old with my father. He was also a teacher. Even though he worked in a bank, he was also a meditation and a yoga teacher. So he was training me from day one, I would say. And I started getting really interested with plant medicines. So I was always helping my mother make medicines at home, and I also come from a line of medicine women and shamans. So I grew up hearing wonderful stories about my grandfathers who would like miracle stories, like saying like, oh, they would talk to energies, they would have these magical abilities to connect to people from different parts of the world, or just superhuman things. So in a way that really helped me also to understand that, okay, this what I'm feeling is not completely crazy, because there were people in my family who really did that. Of course, it skipped a generation because of the time in India, in the 1980s, and everybody wanted to just have a steady job. After the independence in the 50s was already different. After the independence in 1947, India, everybody was running behind steady jobs, big education, and so somehow spirituality, and it was not considered to be that important at that time. Of course, everybody, had the rituals at home and prayers, but nobody really supported, especially a girl who was growing into a spiritual, in a spiritual aspect. So when I told my parents that, oh, I want to learn more about Ayurveda, of course, my parents are wonderful people. They said, oh, that's great. So you can do that after your study.
Right.
So it's not like the main study. You can do that after the study. So everything that was that came from the earth, that was, the traditional knowledge, all of those things, you could practice it, you could study it, but after your study. So I also have a degree in commerce. I had to do that because, that's what, my parents really expected me to do. I hated that. And I told my parents that as well. I said, no, do you see me working in a bank? Yeah. No. No, I'm something else, I would start talking about energies and visions and, there at the bank. But anyway, so I did that. And so when it was time for me to do my master's, so I think I was about 21 at that time, I had already had a degree in an international degree in yoga. I also had many degrees in Ayurveda by that time. But I actually did not know why I was feeling this strong pull towards all these kind of, healing arts and beautiful ancient knowledge. But I just could not stop myself. So I just went on and on studying every chance I got. But then when it was time for me to choose a study for my master's, I sat down with my parents and I told them, no, it's done. I am going to choose what I want. I did that study. I'm not going anywhere with that banking. So I am going to drop that commerce and banking, what I did. So then I had this choice. I could take, I could study for master's in social work or master's in philosophy and religion. Because during that time, maybe also because I didn't have a proper guidance here. Of course, I have guides in, telling me everything else. But
in the physical
I also
sense,
yes, in the physical sense, I also did not understand what exactly I could do for people. So I was trying to connect, my extra abilities that I always had to really bringing in this world and incorporating in this world. How can I really, sum up all my abilities and knowledge and study and techniques to help people? And I thought that maybe being a social worker is a way for me to really connect and help people. But when I was there at the university, I had two forms in my hand, and I was thinking, okay, calm down, think, which way are you going? And then I clearly saw it as master in philosophy and religion. So I put the other paper down, and I thought, okay, I'm going to do this, because metaphysics has always been a huge part of my life.
Yes.
I was always doing research in element energy, and I have always worked with energy of people and homes as well, and also land. So I thought, okay, this is it. I'm going to take up philosophy and religion, because then I have a good chance to study metaphysics as a research student. So I dived right in. Oh, my mother, she almost had tears in her eyes when I came back. She's adorable. She is the best mom. But of course, she also was worried about my future.
Of course, yes.
Yeah,
As
she
you
thought,
said, it was a strong push at that time. To have the security and
exactly,
really, concentrate on what was seen to matter.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So my mom, she was kind of devastated. She said, "Oh, you were so smart. You could have taken MBA at least,
Oh,
so I told her, Mom, I call her Amma, that's mother in my mother tongue, Malayalam. So I said, Amma, don't worry. This is what my heart is saying. This is what I am. This is what I must do. So she was okay with it, and she was very happy later on that I am doing what I want to do. And now she's one of my biggest fans and cheerleaders. So finally, also for my parents, they understand why I was this difficult child, or why I was always having all these ideas and visions. So now we have a great bond, stronger than ever. So that's really that's my biggest strength. absolutely. To really show my parents that, yeah, this is who I am, and yeah, I'm really grateful that they also somehow allowed me to evolve like this.
And I
Very
think
grateful.
it pulls an important point, especially on the metaphysics level, the fact that essentially you are steering the ship. You are the one that has the responsibility to create your own realities and create your own possibilities and opportunities, and by trusting in that process and going with philosophy and religion, even though in many aspects there probably wasn't the safety as much, if you like, on a very logical level anyway. And I think the fact that we really do create those opportunities for ourselves is paramount to our own journeys as well. And just being able to take that leap of faith as well. It's quite yes, quite a journey by the sounds of it.
Yes, in a way, yes, because yeah, everybody, they just thought, oh, she's lost her mind, but she was always a little bit weird. So yeah, we saw it all coming, we saw it. So even my friends, some of my friends would just really make jokes about me, being this philosopher, and saying really funny things like, oh yes, they will need a priestess up in the mountain and they will come and call you, and things like that. But I always had to tell them, yeah, it's okay. And one thing I have to tell you, my father, he always told me, Rakhee, it's not about the degree, it's about the knowledge. It's not about a job, it's about the knowledge. So that really stuck with me. So I blamed my father. Later I said, yeah, it's also because of you. I don't know why I'm like this. It's probably because of you as well. He's a very spiritual man. He's really amazing. And I'm very, he's my teacher. Both my parents, they are my teachers. So I told him that, yes, you were telling that all the time. So that is also what I felt from the inside. It's not about finding a job. I'm not bothered. I am bothered about fixing my own puzzle. I want to know why I'm feeling this, who I am, and what can I do here, in my full potential. So I didn't want to leave out anything. I really wanted it all. Every single knowledge that I could get in my hands, I would just go with it. So I have this great love for life. And that is also, that is also something that really annoyed many of my friends. But now they know that, this is just who she is, it was not a temporary thing. I always had this deep love for life. Also because when you have died and come back, it's different. Everything is different. Life is so precious. And I feel that I got that chance 4 times. And each time I came back with more force. My parents, they are, they were very surprised that every time the doctor would say that, okay, this is it. She would probably not wake up. And my father, the last time my father, he went out to the temple nearby to pray, and he wanted to bring me a new dress, my favorite dress. So he went home. So he took the dress and he prayed, and he came back to the hospital, and he said that was one of the moments that he will never forget in his life, that I was sitting up and I was writing something. So he just went like, whoa. Yeah. This girl is not going anywhere.
Right, exactly. And I think, from what I understand, that's reflected quite a lot in what your current projects as well. I believe you've opened a centre over there. Is that right? Tell me a little bit more about that centre and what that has involved.
Yeah. So 3 years ago, I started coming out from I came out of the closet, and I started giving online consultations, and it's so amazing. I immediately started finding clients from across the world, people from America or Canada who would just write me and say, oh, somebody told me about you. Yeah. And my work always
amazing,
went from, it's really amazing. And I thought, oh, wow. So all I had to do was just come out from the closet.
Why didn't I do that 10 years ago?
Yes, I thought, oh, yes, but it always went from person to person. And I think that is also how I wanted my work to go. Because I can, put a big advertisement saying I can do this, I can do that for you. But we are talking about people, we are talking about souls. So I believe in the soul to soul connection, and that I believe all the way through. So I was, in a way, I was not surprised when people would tell me that, I was just clicking something and suddenly you showed up. Yeah. And then I thought, oh, who is this? And then I checked your profile and I thought, oh, this is exactly what I need.
Yes.
So it was very, very humbling. It was no coincidences at all. It was so humbling to have so much support from life. So much support from life. And I tell that to everybody who asks me, what do you do? How do people find you? Where do you advertise? So I always tell them, do your work. Do your sincere work. It goes out in the world, and everything you need will come back to you. So you don't need to really vigorously work on anything. You just need to open your heart and do your sincere work. Of course, it helps to have some social media that's there. So I have, it makes things easy for people. In the beginning, in the first 2 years, I also didn't have a website. I'm a little bit stubborn, So I thought, no. I am going to do this completely the way that fits me. I am very, I love when everything is open and wide, and there are no restrictions. So I thought, I don't even need a website. Why? People connect like this and we hit it off instantly. So, but then after 2 years, I also thought that, it's easy for people that if I have a website, because otherwise I have to spend one-on-one emailing and, telling people what to expect. And mostly everybody has some questions about it, how they can prepare for a session. So that's how, before 2 years, I started a website. And then everything was going wonderfully well. And I was very happy that I can sit at home. I also have a young child. He will turn 7 in February. So 2 years ago, of course, he was younger. So I was really happy working online. And then in January of 2017, that's last year, I had a wonderful vision and a dream on the same day telling me, open your doors here. Oh, and when I get messages like that, sometimes I'm like, yay. But this one I said, no. No. Let's slow down. Yeah. Hang on. I'm just enjoying this, this online thing. But I know that when I get a clear message like open the door, there is no way as a shamaness I can turn back, because I know it's not about me. It's really, it's never about me. Exactly. So I know that, okay, fine, I thought, thank you, great. So I was in my pajamas, I just woke up. So I came down. And I thought, okay, after my morning meditation, I'm going to open the door. So I physically opened the door and I thought, okay, great. Are you happy? Fine. So I moved on with my day, but I knew that this was coming. In a way, I knew, because just a week ago, I was telling myself that, I'm missing the real hug, the real celebration when somebody is gone through a beautiful healing phase. You just genuinely want to hug or to celebrate together. And I was telling myself that, oh, I miss that sometimes. But then I told, oh, it's okay, come on, everything is going so well. That could happen later on when your child is older. So I was telling myself that. But then when this happened, I opened the doors, and a week later, I started getting clients here. So, and yes, it was amazing. And so right now what I do is to help people heal, but also understand about their emotional wounds, and also about their ancestral patterns, about the traumas, and about their fears. Because of my own life experience, I knew that when I could deal with the fear, I could deal with everything else. Because in a way, I've only heard, no, Rakhee, you can't do that. No, Rakhee, no, you're a girl. No, all my life. So that is when I really knew that, okay, I have a lot of ancestral trauma, ancestral patterns, because the women in my family, they were all amazing, strong women. They still are. But my grandmother, I would tell you how I got into this field of mental illness or mental health care, because my grandmother was very depressed all her life. But of course, the doctor said that she's mentally ill. So back in those days, my grandfather did everything he could to help her, but there was no holistic approach to mental illness. There still is not. So I have wanted to help her all my life. Of course, I've given her all my love, all my time, every time I was there. And we lived next door. So I used to spend time with my grandparents every single day.
Yeah.
And, helping her to heal was my greatest dream. But I developed this, I had lots of work and a lot of techniques that I had to develop. I was a little late for her. So she passed away 2 years ago before I really developed this technique, and I really developed this method of working with people who are depressed. So now I use every bit of energy I have to help people understand the root causes of their depression, the root cause of their traumas and their fears. Because I feel that trauma, the word itself, is not properly understood.
No,
it's not properly understood.
It's so individualized. It's so unique.
Yes.
Trauma for one can be maybe catching public transport or something like that.
Yes.
And that can be quite a traumatic experience. And then compared to something like trauma for another, which is quite abusive and physically damaging, and the two are still traumatic. The two still have an essence of fear, and they really, I'm having trouble getting the words out, which is interesting. The trauma level, I suppose, for each individual can be a 10 out of 10.
Very different. Yes.
Even though from the outside looking in, it looks like two very different, if we're looking at it logically. So,
Yes. And the way people store trauma in their body is also very different. And so sometimes when I'm sitting with a client, I would ask them, so tell me about, a certain experience. And then they would say that, yes, it was really bad back then, but no, it's okay. I can get on with my daily activities now. So that it shows that, sometimes people don't want to look at their fears or their problems. They just don't want to understand that whatever experience, a bad experience that stays in their body is a trauma. I consider them as a wound. I don't use the word trauma. I use the word emotional wound, because from emotional wounds, if you have an open wound in your body, it's very fragile. That area is very fragile. So you kind of end up falling back right on that wound, and it's very difficult for you to attract the right things in your life. So I work a lot with the law of attraction as well. And that is exactly why some people tell me, come here and tell, I don't know what's wrong with me. Do you see something? Do you, like, I do everything possible. You know, I do yoga, I meditate, you know, I do crystal healing, everything. But yeah, I keep attracting the wrong people in my life, or the wrong things, or disaster in my life. And that is really because they have not dealt with their fears. They have not dealt with their traumas or their wounds. Because if they have not done that, then that is what is showing up, even if you like it or not. And that is what you are attracting from the universe. So in my experience, I knew that that was my biggest thing. Of course, I think that is also why I had to die and come back, so that I have this quote to myself that, hey, you've died and come back. What are you afraid of? Go out.
Yeah, and you're not alone. You're not alone. There's you know, quite a few different stories which have very, very unique parallels. You know, dying, coming back, you know, near-death experiences. We've got another one in this series, which is just a very, very powerful experience. So it's really good to hear that commonality.
So excited.
Yes, as well.
It's so amazing that you are giving all of us this wonderful platform to tell our stories.
I love it. It's just
thank you.
So what's the direction moving forward? You know, if you had that magic wand analogy, what are your your visions for your centre and your work moving forward with depression and trauma? Like, what would be your absolute dream come true, do you think?
First of all, I do have a magic wand.
Ah, yes. I think we all do. It's actually a bit of a loaded question, and it's what I cover a lot with my clients, and then it goes much deeper than the actual questions. But I love to ask it and hear all those different answers, because it's fascinating.
Yeah.
I just find it so
absolutely. No, that was just a joke.
Yes.
But yes. Now what I have developed in the last 1 year with plants, that has brought me to a really beautiful new path, because I now also have sacred plant medicines which work on the subconscious level of people. That works directly with the traumas, with their fears. So I get a lot of requests from my clients to open a sleep center. Because I also, yes, interesting, right? Yes. I also have wonderful therapies to help people fall asleep. So I can initiate sleep in people who have insomnia. And as you know, when you sleep, you recover. When we really get that beautiful, deep sleep, then our body is getting the good chance to heal from the inside. And that is the magic that I have developed with the help of plants. So it's a wonderful, easy thing to undergo. It's a very beautiful therapy, because you are basically coming to my center to sleep. So I tell them to take their pajamas. Really, it's a big party here. So I tell my clients, you come in whatever clothes. I don't care. If you want to take your pajamas, bring it along, your house coat. So it's a very lovely, easy, relaxed atmosphere where people come here, and I work with marma. Those are the vital points. So I just take a little bit of the oil, or I can't say it oil. It's more beautiful when I look at it and think of it as a sacred plant medicine. So it is in the form of oil. So it's just 2 drops, just at the right area, wherever is necessary for that particular client. And then within a few seconds or within a few minutes, they're yawning, and then they look for their bed. So
it's so good.
Yes, it's,
and it's
so amazing.
It's really timely too, because I actually allowed myself to have a nap this morning. It was my work day, and normally on my work days, because like you, I've got young children who are 3 and 5, and so when I have a work day, it's like I try to cram all these things. Often I try to cram all of these things, and then this morning I'm just like, actually, I'm just going to go and have a nap. I just had a nap for 20 minutes, and it's just like it's set up the rest of my day, essentially.
It's so important.
Yes.
Yeah. So I've been getting a lot of requests to open a sleep center, but my I would say my big dream is to start a sleep and healing center, particularly for people who are suffering from insomnia or struggling with fears and anxiety and depression all over the world.
Yes.
Because I think this is something that so many people can benefit from, and it is a very very soft approach to mental illness or fears or anxiety. It's a very soft approach because it works in a subconscious mind, and you slowly make a beautiful transformation. And you are very aware of what you're feeling, and it's a very beautiful healing journey. So that's my big dream.
Excellent. That's wonderful. I'm so excited to watch your progress and journey, and certainly keep in touch as well. I've just actually thought of about 3 or 4 people that I'm going to hook you up with after this call as well.
So everybody can go and sleep.
Collaborate with. I've just actually come across a few sleep expert specialists who are looking to expand and talk to others in the field as well. So we're going to do that shortly.
That's so
because the power of collaboration and networking.
Yes, absolutely. I'm very open to it. Yes.
Yes,
totally.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you so much for your time. This has been, loads of fun and really great just to share your journey with the full love and respect that it deserves as well. What we're going to do, we're going to post all of your details below, how to get in touch with you, find out more information and so forth, and definitely find out as much as we can and reconnect further as well. All right, wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Lots of gratitude.